Hey, folks, welcome back to the Land Fixer podcast. I am your host, Logan Swanson, and as always, we're here to talk about all things land and land related. We have Mary and Anne Danielson with us. Say hi, folks.
Hey, yeah.
Hello there.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. They're going to be going into some really cool stories about flipping land, which is my favorite thing. So before we get into that, folks, remember if you need to buy land, go to primelandexchange.com, or if you're a land flipper and you want to list your land, go to primelandexchange.com as well and hit list your land. If you need land funding, go to landpartnerfunding.com. And we are hosting our second Dallas Fort Worth Land Investor Meetup next month. That's going to be March the 21st from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And that'll be at the Inclusion Coffee in Arlington. If you are interested, reach out to me or check it out on the website. It'll be readily available for everybody. We have 30 seats for this one. They will sell it very quickly. And our special guest this month is going to be Bhaskar Pandey out of Houston with Builders Land Source, and it is going to be a heck of a good time. All right, so ladies, tell me how you, one of you, tell me how you got here today, got into land, all that sort of stuff, and then let's get into some fun stories.
Sure, I can start us off.
Uh-huh, go right ahead.
So I'm Ann. I'm in the Philippines, and I've been here now for 7 years. And so during the Philippines, or during COVID, the Philippines had a really bad lockdown. And I was already doing some real estate, but I needed to keep myself occupied. And so I was listening to a million podcasts, stumbled on some land investing podcasts, went down the rabbit hole, and then it kind of triggered our childhood, really, because we grew up with a dad that was all about the land. And so I was thinking, oh, this could maybe work for Mary and me. And so I studied a bit. And then after I thought, yeah, this is a great fit for us, then I called her and said, Mary, you want to do this? And she said, sure.
Beautiful. And did y'all do a course?
We did. Yeah, we started out in Land Academy.
Okay.
Uh, and it was a good fit for a while. And then we could see already what we wanted to do a little differently. So we just jumped off right away and started doing our own thing. And since then, we really literally listened to every single podcast, you included, Logan.
Oh, nice.
Um, and then we just incorporate what's a good fit for us. So we've got our own little hybrid, simple company, and we like it that way. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, Mary, how about you tell me about what your company is like today?
Today, I mean, right now we've kind of changed our path a little bit. Before we were doing little, now we're doing a lot more subdividing and partnering and looking for funders and partners, and that's pretty much it. Like we definitely take each deal as it comes and go from there.
Sweet. Do you specialize in a certain area or subdivision type or anything like that?
Yeah, we sure do. And actually, that's, I think, probably what makes us different is that we are only in Tennessee,
Oh,
except
nice.
until yesterday.
Yeah.
Uh, only in Tennessee. And even that, I would say mostly around Nashville, Middle Tennessee, and right around Nashville. Um, all of our deals pretty much in the last 2 years have been either larger acreage or subdivides. Um, yeah, we stick to rural, unrestricted. Um, the bigger the better.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, we have our first subdivide in Crossville, Tennessee. Um, yeah,
That's
you
nice.
you familiar with that area?
Yeah, we've actually done 3 projects there.
Oh, wow, that's
And that
that's
was our
awesome.
first that was our first
And that was
subdivide.
our first one. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we're having we're actually I've covered it in a couple episodes with my partner, but we're about to do another one. We've had a hell of a time, not because of really the area or the property itself, but just the structure that we set up and that we have it owner financed to us and we are subdividing and putting in all the capex, and then there's this huge process to start getting lots released. But fingers crossed, we're actually gonna have our first closings next week.
Great.
But we've had about like either 1.1 or 1.2 million dollars worth of closings just sitting at title, waiting for this all this stuff to happen in the background for us to be able to transact on it.
Oh,
And it
wow.
has, yeah, it has been a real adventure. So, speaking of adventure, I brought y'all on because you said you had some pretty good stories. So, how about you? Let me, um, what sort of stories? We're gonna tell the worst types of stories, like the worst situations we ran into, or like exciting. What do you guys got?
Well, we've already told a couple of our stories on podcasts with like squatters that ended up buying the property. That was a very good story, but we've told it before. Um, that was awesome. And also a Crossville story. We had a lady that didn't use the phone, so we had to write her letters, and that's how we got our first subdivide. And
That's
that was
so
a really
funny.
yeah, that was a good one. But we've already told that story. So yesterday, I mean, every day is a story in land, right?
Yes,
Would you
yes.
say? Like every day there's a new character or plot twist. So yesterday, Mary got a little curious because somebody was talking about how lovely this land was that he walked. And our rule is that we only do land in
Yes.
Tennessee, right? Like that's like number one. And so she's like, "Oh, I'm curious, send it over." Well, then she falls in love with it, and then I start digging in, and then I talk to the guy. And so all of yesterday, we've been breaking down and deciding if we're going to do this deal in South Carolina, and we're calling it the Prepper's Paradise.
Oh wow. Okay. So what's
Yeah.
that? I'm guessing it's very fertile ground. Does it already have some scary concrete shelter on it somewhere?
It has two shipping containers that
Yep.
are fully decked out. Yeah, with all the utilities and fans and living conveniences that you'd want in two shipping containers.
Wow.
Yeah, it's got a really big fence all around it and lots of barbed wire. You
Mm.
need that.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. And then it's got two like narrow easements that run back and then meet up in the back. So it's 30 acres in all.
And it's
Out in the
beautiful.
back, pardon?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So once you
Beautiful
get past the barbed wire and the scary
containers.
containers and the one sock in the bushes and all the things that are creepy about it, out back it's really beautiful, and it's got like a nice stream and a huge clearing. I mean, this guy's been working on it for 20 years and making the road so that his rigs can get all the way to the back. And yeah, it's really beautiful. It's just quirky like they all are, and he's
Yep.
quirky, but and it's not our market, right? So like we have to decide, is this the one to branch out on? Probably not. Are we going to?
It's
Probably.
growing there, Anne. It is growing.
That's true. That's true. The con's going.
So how do you value shipping containers?
That's new to us.
No.
You
Yeah.
guys.
Do you know? Tell us. Do you know?
No, I've never dealt with a shipping container. Almost any time that I've run into land with a structure that someone could live in, I either walk away or I will get like a 90 to 120 day contract on it, and just be very clear with them. Like, I don't, I don't know this enough. I'm probably going to remarket this property and try to sell it in this time frame, but I'm not going to extend my own capital. Um, Too many unknowns, too much risk, and then like if you guys have dealt with squatters already, you know that someone could just squat in there and cause you a real nightmare. So,
Not in this place.
okay, I suppose.
Everything is locked down.
I suppose.
Yeah, there's barbed wire.
No squatter is getting into this. I mean, there's a mouse can't get into this place.
You know what I would do is I would take the pictures of it and I would go to Reddit and I'd find whatever prepper Reddit forums in there, thread is in there, and post pictures and say who's a serious buyer for a ready to go property in South Carolina. And I guarantee that you'll have a ton of people who will talk your ear off all about it. And maybe you'll get some serious offers, but they'll at least help you value the property, maybe.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Good idea.
that's a great tip. And we need some more prepper friends. We don't have enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's really one of the things that I had researched when we were talking about Crossville, Tennessee before, is that's on the Cumberland
Plateau.
plateau. Yeah, I don't know why I was forgetting that word. And apparently that is like one of the best areas for preppers as well. So I don't know. I've learned a lot about preppers ever since I've gotten into this land business.
Right.
Why not? I mean, it's all
Right.
about like subcultures is just like what's so fascinating, right? I mean, we even have we've learned about some cults that are moving into where we have some properties too, and there's a whole lot of talk around that. So we aren't really ready to talk about it yet because we don't understand what's happening. But I watch Wild Wild Country, and so I mean, I have some idea. Did you watch
Wow.
that?
I have. Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah,
I mean,
you have a little bit of that.
there might have to be an episode 2 if you guys have a whole cult story soon.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true. Yeah, because we're still learning about this cult. Like we know everybody is running them out of town, but we're not there, so we don't really know if we don't know. But yeah, so
We'll find
anyway,
out.
back to the prepper paradise.
Uh,
Um, I mean our first rule anytime that we don't know what the hell we're doing is to call the local people that do, right?
yeah.
So yesterday I found a lady, it was the quickest I found a broker actually ever. And she had something that was kind of like ours, where it's like a flag lot type
Hmm.
back um, acreage type place. And it does look like she's kind of done every kind of property in the world. So plus I liked her picture and she wrote back.
Yeah.
She wrote back
The
right
number
away.
one.
And she used some all capital letters and she said, I'd love to look at it for you. It's been like 12 hours or something and we've already exchanged. So yeah, she's doing the CMA on the computer right now and trying to figure out some stuff. And like Mary said, she probably dated the brother or the uncle or the cousin or
Boy, isn't that an amazing feeling though when you actually find a good broker?
Oh my God.
oh yeah.
Just the
Oh,
sigh of relief. I mean, we funded this deal in Windham County, Connecticut, and this realtor, I mean, we were lucky enough this property the realtor lived like 2 or 3 lots away from it, which can be a mixed bag. Sometimes I feel like I don't know. We'll get into that. I've had a few bad situations with that, but I mean, this realtor was insane. We had to survey the property. There was wetlands on it. There was a bunch of headaches involved with it, and she was there every step of the way, timely, going way above and beyond what we would have expected. And by the time I was done with it, I mean, it sold for like I don't know, 150,000 bucks or something. So her commission for her effort just didn't feel like it was enough. I just wanted
Close
to
enough.
send her more money, but it was incredible. So, man, that's great. I'm glad y'all found somebody good for that property.
well,
Yes.
you
And
don't know yet. You don't know
that's,
yet.
Yeah.
yeah. But
At the
that's one of the
beginning,
reasons
they're
that
all
we
great.
stay in Tennessee is because we have like 3 or 4 great realtors and we only want to use them because to find one is like impossible, it seems, most days.
Hmm.
That they actually respond and go and take pictures and go put up signs and I don't even know what else they do. A lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's rare.
Yeah. So,
Mm.
with Prepper Paradise, is that it for that
Yeah.
story, or do we have more to go?
Well, it's chapter one because it just started. So we're yesterday in the morning, I was really excited about it and I said, let's go. And then the more I dug into it, it's going to be kind of a question of like getting utilities back,
Hmm.
and like what's already there. And then how far does the electric already go? Because we already know that those are the deal breakers, right? Like those little value adds, if you've got something like that with a flag lot or a long driveway or something that can really just, cut way into your profits. So that's part of it is figuring out what the heck the deal is with the utilities. Um, there's also kind of a weird sand situation with it.
Mm.
So I'm going to send you pictures after this.
Yes, please.
The way that the road goes back is it's all on sand, but it's not near the beach or the water or something. And then we sort of have a connection to that a little bit too, because our family land growing up was on sand, but it was silica sand.
Hmm.
So it ended up being really, really valuable. So this sand is another question mark for us because I'm thinking, of course, I'm like, oh, maybe the sand is valuable. And then my other thought is maybe the sand makes it really hard to build on. Like, I
Right.
don't know about sand.
Right.
So again, it's a question for a local person, and we got to figure out what kind of sand is over there.
Right. Do you have an offer out on it at this point that's accepted
Yeah,
or?
we do. Yeah, we do. We have an accepted offer, and the guy is happy with the number, and he ran it by his lawyer, and it's clear cut. He handed over like all the 27 keys to the gates and water spigots, and yeah, so we'll see.
That's awesome. And I mean, I guess for your business right now, I'm curious, what's your like standing inventory like, or how much deal flow are you going through at this time? Because for a lot of folks, they've seen a pronounced slowdown in the past year or so. I'm just curious where y'all are at.
Well, right now so when everything was kind of in a lull, right before the election, and everyone was just sitting around doing nothing, um, we scooped up three larger tracts that were good subdivides. And so then we used all of the time of no activity to get them ready for the
Right.
market. And
Hmm.
so then they all, well, not all, two of them hit the market in January. And then one of them has some county approvals because we're doing some smaller tracks on that. So that won't hit until March. So we just kind of started doing some neighbor postcards and some like pre-marketing in the area. And there's been a lot of traction from just local folks that want to buy there. But then that won't come out until March. So I think we kind of got lucky because usually in December we do a slowdown. Mary's kids
Hmm.
are in a ton of sports, and my family always takes a month-long vacation in December. And so we tried to, we kind of knew we'd be slowing down, but we just wanted to keep the wheels turning in a way that we could without people buying. So we just tried to like prep. Hey, we're
Ha ha
preppers too, right?
ha! You are preppers yourselves. Look at that.
Ding ding. Yeah.
Well, let's get into a meaty story. How about a nightmare? Do you have any like nightmare situations that you've been through?
I mean, Crossville was not awesome.
Okay, tell me about Crossville.
I mean, Crossville turned out okay, but we had a bad realtor situation. Um,
Who is the
we had
realtor?
around,
Hopefully, I'm not using that realtor.
well, I'm not going to say his name, but
Okay,
We'll name
message
um,
names
me.
off camera. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll tell.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
tell you. We'll for sure tell you because he just, I mean, he was great, kind of like a, grandpa type style, but he definitely was a good old boy, and he had some properties that he was in on, um, just down the way, and so we went to like search up our property, and he had it listed. What was it listed in? Like you couldn't
It
search it
right.
for what was it? What did he have it listed as? Though I don't remember.
It only came up if you could say the exact address and acreage and farm. So like if those filters weren't selected, then the property was, you couldn't find
You
it
couldn't
on the
find it.
search.
So he was what? Just trying to let the price go down and then he would buy it, or what was his goal?
I think he wanted to have his properties that were similar to ours sell first because they were
Ah,
competitors. And so it took us a little. I mean, Anne's really good at checking, all the listings often. And then we're like, what? Where is our property? And then we would message him like, hey, we're not seeing it. And he's like, oh, they're on everything. Well, like we're like, no, they're not. And then eventually, I don't even know how we ended up finding it, but we're like, okay, these filters are impossible. Like we know the acreage, the street name, you know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
it took forever for us to actually find them. And so it definitely made the deal longer. And then once we got it in the hands of the right person, it was like, oh, that was how it was supposed to go, like in a month or two, how I
oh
can't remember how
man,
quickly she sold them, but it was not awesome.
that's crazy. Now I'm
Yeah,
like,
it was
okay,
really shady.
It
yeah.
was like a buried listing, and it was, yeah, it was pretty, at the
How do
time, man, it was a nightmare.
how do you even do that? There's like a secret button is on MLS that's like bury this.
Well, and I think I talked to one of our other realtors that we like know and trust and love, and he kind of helped us get to the bottom of it and understand, how realtors are listing properties and on what platforms or whatever. And so eventually we figured it out. And then he wouldn't, like most realtors will let you out of the contract. He wouldn't let us out of the contract.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. So how did
It
it
was
wash out? Did you have to like take him to court or something?
We started shopping for another realtor and we just kind of let it sit. I mean, it was like close, but we're like, these should not, like, we can see the market and how it's moving and who's buying what. And then we just realized and we started
We
shopping for
did.
another one and said, we're done in six, we're done on this exact day. And then she took over. So, and we told her obviously what was going on. But then we sound like a nightmare, right? Because
Yeah.
we're complaining about the realtor, so trying to get like a new one to listen to you and be like, really, I'm telling you, like, we're
No,
not
he's a
crazy.
bad person. Yeah, it's like that. It's like crazy ex-girlfriend syndrome or something. You're like, no, I swear he was. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's just it. Like, there were a couple of realtors that were like, well, man, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm telling you, like, I mean, I was obviously just done with them, but it was kind
Man.
of, the realtor search again. I guess this is about the realtor search.
Right, yeah. And I've done an episode over, I mean, that is at the crux of it. I mean, if you're dealing at a certain price point, you need that. That is, yeah. I've never
Well,
had
and
a
then he was
situation
like
like that.
broker or whatever, or he was the top dog at his
He
company.
was the broker. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was the broker. So it wasn't even like if he was
We
an
could go
agent,
ahead.
we could say, we'll talk to your broker, right? I mean, not that we are like calling the principal, like this isn't actually how we operate at all. But
Right.
he had done so many shady things. And then we just realized, you know what? The best thing to do in this situation, because we're probably going to do more business there. I mean, now we've done 3 projects in Cumberland. Um, is just to weigh him out. And so we
Hmm.
did. And then when we found the woman, and actually she was kind of familiar with him doing some slippery things before, she just said, it's okay. I have a really big buyers list. We can get people lined up. And then when you're out of the contract, it won't be long. And that's how it went after that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And literally the day we were done, she was like up and ready to go, which
Yeah,
was awesome.
that's true. Yeah, it was great. It
Yeah,
was
that's
great.
crazy. So how about your biggest win or your biggest success? Do y'all have any glory stories?
Same freaking property.
I mean, yeah,
In retrospect, once it's in the rearview mirror and we aren't dealing with, you know,
Right.
I mean, the thing about that one was it did seem like it took forever. All in all, I think it was 11 months, right,
Hmm.
Mayor?
yeah, that sounds about right.
And the purchase was like 62 and and we sold out at 323.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad at all.
So
We're at
that was a good
14
one.
months without a closing yet. So,
You win.
yeah.
Yeah. It's coming though.
Oh my, it's gonna
You
be
know,
the sweetest thing.
you will definitely dance, and then the next day you'll already forget about it.
Oh, I know. That's what I was about to say. It'll probably just happen and I'll immediately move on to whatever the next thing I need to worry about is. It's like we don't celebrate.
Yeah.
We don't celebrate. We did have another kind of nightmare that had a happy ending, and that was in
Crap.
Monterey,
Money.
5 miles from Crossville.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell me about that one. What sort of property? Let's give
That.
stats too. Okay, it's this many acres. We did this so people can
Okay,
kind of
okay.
like,
So this one was
22, 22 acres.
28, 20, no more, because it was a three, 20 in the 20s. We can't
yeah, yeah.
remember. And it was just a 3 split. And we actually used the same surveyor that we did on the Crossville one. And we had a decent relationship with him on that property. Two things went wrong with him on this one. One is he said, I'm trying to get back together with my wife. Can she be the broker?
Sure.
Well, that is a soap opera. And then we got into it. And then the second thing he did was not record the new child parcels with the county. And he signed off on the survey and we paid it without realizing that he hadn't recorded the new APNs, and then he was too lazy to get back out there. So we were sort of left with a prelim survey that we'd paid off on, and we couldn't get him to go back.
Nuh-uh.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
maybe
we
give us your surveyor's name. We'll run it through.
Yeah, afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, we paid for it in the first closing. So his wife
Right.
was able to sell the first child parcel. And so we had paid for the survey, like they got paid their realtor commission and then paid for the survey. And then he just didn't give us the descriptions once their contract was up for the other two parcels. So then when we had a buyer, he wouldn't do it. So we were going to have to get a new surveyor. Well, then go ahead, Ann. This is the good part. This is
Okay, but wait, the only other thing is that he was so stubborn and also slippery that the title company was calling to say, hey, we need the legal descriptions. Like, come on. And then he would say, like, oh, I'm taking my son on a field trip. I can't do it right now. Like, he never said no. He would just have really weird excuses. Remember that?
yeah. It was
Anyway, so we gave up on him kind of, and then the happy ending. So, okay, on this, oh my God, Mary, and then we visited it, and then I pulled the signs out of it. Oh my God. Okay, so then that last summer, it was sitting so long and it wasn't getting sold, and we knew that like they just were like a set it, forget it situation with the ex-wife they were kind of rekindling, blah, blah, blah. I went out there with Mary, and all of the brush has grown up. We had it all brush hogged, but now time has passed and it grows fast, and it was up over the sign, right? So I dig in the bushes and I'm like going through, and Mary's like, there's snakes, don't go in there. And I just pulled out the sign, and I was so mad. And I said, take a picture of the sign in the weeds. And I said, look at this, like, you're not marketing our property. And the thing is too, we like literally don't complain. We love our realtors. We send them gifts. We like celebrate their kids' birthdays. We aren't like this, but he was really kind of yucky. And he was the surveyor that wouldn't do the description, and it's the wife. Anyway, we end up meeting and like adoring the original buyer of the first property, because he had already started putting in the gravel. He had we helped put the new culverts in. He had a mailbox out. He was like clearing brush. He was starting his build site, and it was looking so good. And so I wrote him a note and I said, gosh, your build site looks so great. Da, da, da. And then he said, ladies, are the other tracks still available? And we said, well, they are. And so then he said, I can't afford it yet. Will you wait for me? And so, well, here we are. Yep, we did. Yeah, no. Mama Mary said, no problem. Just save your pennies. We'll wait. And so then we were going to close in December. Why didn't we again?
Oh, little mistake with the bank.
Oh, yeah. So he was a little shy. And then we said, it's okay. We'll just do a promissory note and you can follow up with us on this little, dingleberry amount of whatever it was. And then the bank found out that we were floating him the 10K or whatever it was. And then they said, no, that counts as a lien, and he can't have the property if we're going to give him the loan.
Right.
So then we just kept waiting a little longer. Yeah, we were just patient. And now we have a new friend, and he has a dump truck company. So, and we're in the area and we need gravel a lot. So
that's awesome. Go. Look at that.
And
all set up.
Yeah. And now all that time, he could have just bought the whole thing to begin with.
And we wouldn't have had to deal with the surveyor. So we had to go back to the title company and have them put the original master description back together. And now it's one big happy chunk of land again.
All for nothing.
All for nothing. All the emails to the surveyor, being very nice to the surveyor. And then I was like, oh, we just closed on it like last week, actually. And I'm like, can I email the whatever titled people, or the surveyor Better Business Bureau?
Yeah.
We're just gonna Sorry, I don't know what it's called right now.
So angry.
And she's like, nope, we're just going to sweep it under the rug. I'm like, fine.
We had a
But
weird situation. I mean, surveyors, they just must be an odd bunch because they're always out in the woods or something. But we had this surveyor in Kentucky. It's for a deal that we funded, something like it's a 100-acre property, kind of in two chunks. It's an oddball. And we hired this company, or we asked them if they would survey the property, and they said yes. And then they would just not respond to us for like a month and a half or 2 months, something like that. Never gave us a quote on what it would cost, ignored phone calls, text messages, emails. And then finally, like the day up, or like 2 months later, they just send us a bill and they're like, yeah, you owe us $8,000. Here's the survey. And I was like, I mean, you could have given us a quote or something, you know? So we like, we're like, well, we're going to have to do something here because you never said this was going to be an $8,000 boundary survey, you know? Yeah, it was just such bizarre activity. And then they were immediately like blowing us up, calling us 5 times a day, 10 times a day, calling the title company, calling our broker, where's our money? Where's our money?
yeah, those phone calls would have been really nice on the front end.
Yeah, you do have a phone. That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
exactly.
we had the same thing happen with a perk company, and we've learned very quickly, like definitely like get the contract.
Hmm.
And I mean, this perk guy was like a 3-month wait list, and I was like, all right, let me know when you're gonna go. Nope, $850 bill. And then we weren't even doing that property anymore.
Oh man, what a nightmare.
Luckily, the guy that wanted our help on the property still owns it and needed the information for him to continue. We just kind of dropped out because the utilities were such a disaster. But yeah, it's like definitely get the contract
Ugh.
because, yeah, that's baloney.
And that's the thing too, is if these guys have a opening in their schedule or something is canceled or weather somewhere keeps them off another job, then they say, oh, okay, I'll just go do this other one, which is
Fine.
awesome. But you just text quick and say, hey, still in on the da-da-da, I'm heading there now. And we say, awesome, great, go. Or like, no, abort. It literally just a text to fill in people. Communication actually really matters, right? Like if the plan changes, just check in.
Yeah.
That's it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
bizarre
seriously, write up your own
activity.
contracts with them though. Like, hey, I will text and inform because that's a lot of money to just, oh, we're not even buying that property anymore, but thanks.
Yeah. Well, we got time for one last story. Do you have any other favorites, favorite situations, favorite properties, beautiful views, anything incredible that you've done?
Um,
My favorite is
well,
celebrity.
I know, but maybe we should just talk about the penny situation because we're still in it.
Okay.
You said
Okay.
no? No.
No.
Okay, too juicy. Sorry,
Sorry.
guys. No penny situation this time.
Not this time.
Not this time. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Mer. Tell the celebrity land one.
No, go ahead. No, that's okay. Sorry.
Fine. We got a great call on a mailer. This guy he said, well, this is a prime property because it's celebrity land. And it was owned by a celebrity and there's celebrities all around it. And the biggest celebrity was the drummer of the Crickets. Is that right, Mary?
Yep.
Yeah. And then the wife was named Peggy Sue because you know that song, Peggy Sue. You probably don't know it because you're
No.
very young. We only know it because of our parents, like growing up, like Peggy Sue, Peggy Sue, Peggy Sue. You don't know this one?
I do not.
I'll send you the song too.
I'll
So now
pretend I
send you
know. Yes, yes, good song.
You got a lot of things coming your
really
way.
good song, guys. It's so good. Anyway, the lady was Peggy Sue because the song was named after her. Peggy Sue, it is actually famous for older people. And so it was already cut into two tracks, two 3.5. So we bought the 7 and we paid 75.
Paid
Yeah,
75.
paid 75. And it sold in 2 days for 175, and we did nothing. Zero, zilch, nada.
Called the
That's
water company and that's it.
Oh man, that feels good. Those deals that like the gurus sell the courses on, they're all this easy.
Absolutely. And I think it's my favorite because it made me like a believer. So it's not like an exciting, funny one by any means, but it was like, oh my God, this is the real deal,
Yeah,
and they're rare for sure. We've never
I
had one
mean,
that
they
simple.
happen though. I mean, I had one that I funded for a really cool guy in Ohio, of all places, and I didn't know much about Ohio. I just assumed it was a slow market. I hemmed and hawed over the property for a long time. I think we even rejected the initial offer and had him go back and renegotiate lower or something. He came back like $10,000 lower. And I looked at it, and the price that the broker suggested just seemed high for me, and I just wasn't comfortable with any of it. But I was like, all right, I'm just going to trust you. Do your thing. Worst case scenario, we start slashing prices. That thing went under contract. Yeah, like 7 days later, we bought it for 72,000, something like that. Listed it, went under contract, full price, cash offer, closed within like 3 or 4 weeks. And this guy made six figures. He didn't pull a penny out of his pocket. Our partner did. And it was just like, who would have thought? Just some random sort of farm acreage in Ohio just absolutely crushed it.
Yep. Yep. It's
Insane.
amazing.
On this one too, thinking back, Mary, that's when we met Sam.
Hmm.
And the broker before it said, oh, there's visible power lines in front. You won't be able to sell it. Don't buy it. Remember that?
Yes. Yep.
And we're like, really? That there's visible power lines
Like
everywhere in
Yeah,
town.
everywhere.
and literally
Like
everywhere you drive.
literally everywhere. Like if they buried them, we'd be lost. Like what is going on? And so then that's when we met this broker who then we definitely rode on his coattails for a couple of years, but he did just break up with us.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yes, he did.
We knew it
Oh,
was coming.
sad
No.
day.
Sad day.
Very sad day.
He's a young guy, fantastic. We love him dearly, and he's just starting a new business. So,
Oh man. Well,
and it was kind of conflicting with ours. So he's like, I can't go look at your properties anymore because I'm very jealous about the one that you just sent me to. And so
Yeah.
he came clean and was like, I don't think I should be your broker anymore. So it wasn't a bad situation, and I'm proud of him because he's young and doing
yeah.
all the things he should be doing. So.
Well, let's just pray that he fails and comes back to work for
Yeah.
y'all. No.
Yes and no. I mean, we are still bitter in the breakup. So yeah.
I
Oh
think what we
man.
can hope for is that he gets a project that's a little too big for him, and then we can partner on it.
Partner. There you
Yeah.
go. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
We'll be his fairyland mothers.
That's right.
There you go.
Well, ladies, thank you so
Awesome.
much for being on. Well, I forgot to mention your Danielson Land Company is your company. You guys got some land for sale, I'm guessing. Do you have any good products that you're looking to get moved right now? Any good properties that are on market?
Well, we have a really nice farm, a really nice new split in Waverly, no flood zone, pretty creeks, barn, half wooded, half cleared, good hunting. That's a nice one. And then the one that's going to launch, that one will be in Dixon, Tennessee. That'll be 121 acres, and we'll have 15 tracks there, all unrestricted, baby, and build ready. So that is coming soon. And then now, right now, we're working on building some relationships with some local banks in Tennessee because we're out of money. And and then we'll, if anybody is a prepper,
There
call
you
us.
go.
Yeah.
And what's your website?
Our website is www. I don't guess you don't say that anymore.
It's allowable.
Delete. AOL. No, just kidding. Danielson, just like the Karate Kid, danielsonlandco.com.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else you want to plug while you're here?
Now,
All
I think
right.
we're good.
Well, thank you both so much for being on all the way from the Philippines. That's incredible. We're
Fantastic.
representing multiple time zones here. That's really
Yes, we
cool.
are.
Folks, just a reminder, if you need to buy or sell land, go to primelandexchange.com. If you need funding, go to landpartnerfunding.com. And if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you are going to want to go to this land seminar. It is the best. And then we are actually going to have land seminars every month moving forward. So we have a bunch of exciting guests that are going to be coming in to town just to talk about land. So reach out to me, landfixer.com, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you so much.